No, but jokes
whether
apart, do you think it would be possible in America? I'll come to Europe after that. For a Muslim to become a president.
look, no, at this point in time, no. At one point it wasn't going to be possible for a Catholic to become president. That's changed. At one point it wasn't possible for a black man to become president or a woman. If someone were Muslim, I think you would see people voting against them specifically because they were Muslim. Right, and that's a little different. You could take a Buddhist. A Buddhist probably isn't going to become president, but I don't know that it becomes because they're Buddhist. It's
In United States, the taxes are okay. Now, quite on the low side, but also apart from everything else, United States has the additional, or the tax money has the additional responsibility of funding wars around the world. All right.
yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
you have even less of a purse for any kind of welfare system, right? You see the student debt is ballooning up.
You know as well as I know, people graduate with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Yeah. Um, in Sweden is, I think, in the top 5 countries in the number of startups which are there. The innovation and the number of startups is very high in Sweden.
You could incentivize startups with a low corporate tax rate at the same time as people don't want to actually have their permanent residence in the country because their
Exactly.
personal income is taxed crazily.
Yeah. If Donald Trump had made this statement in Europe, okay, his popularity rating would have been as high.
Yeah, Donald Trump wouldn't win the national election.
What do you think of Donald Trump's statement?
I think it's an absolutely absurd statement, and I think it comes close to hate speech. Here's the issue, right? When you're a refugee, and this I saw firsthand in Egypt, they think that it's Christians who are going to be resettled. You'll have a bunch of Muslims who say they're Christians, right? Because they're desperate, right?
In America, the media is not very responsible, right? So American media plays according to what it thinks has maximum viewership.
How's that different in Europe?
How is that
I know
different than Europe?
no one's putting media out there that no one wants to hear about. I am a big Uber fan. I use Uber in all my travels. The impact they're having globally, I think, is worth noting.
It actually reminds me of the time when I was in Kiev in 2000, where you didn't have an Uber, but you could just flag any car coming and they would take you because they needed money and they would charge you. Right? So this is what it's doing. It's empowering everyone to earn money. Uber today can work and challenge the taxis because of the infrastructure, because of the system which is in place today, which has done the background checks and everything,
Correct.
and does not put you at risk even if an individual is taking you in the taxi. I'm not so much supporting Assad, but I'm supporting, and it's up for debate. Is Syria ready for a democracy?
I agree with you. I don't think Syria is at that point, especially with all the bloodletting. Take a look at Egypt, right? It was not ready.
And I don't think Muslim Brotherhood, once it came to power, they were not governing properly. Sisi and they intervened way too soon and nipped it in the bud.
A bunch of my Egyptian friends told me this. He said, look, Egypt, and in terms of democracy, I'm defining as a liberal democracy. Said the problem with Egypt is none of the liberals are Democrats, and all the Democrats aren't liberal, right?
The difference between the Middle East and Balkans, even though there are quite a few similarities, they cannot pan out the same way is because of two religions who are at a very different point of evolution.
Oh, I agree.
So you
Yeah,
cannot have a liberal intervention in the Middle East because there is nothing called liberal Islam right now. There isn't. All the ethnically Christian people in the Balkans did not take things at book value. Only fundamentalists in Christians exist only in the southern states of United States of America, nowhere else. Everywhere else, they separate out the literal translation of the book from their everyday values. Somehow they're providing a kind of resonance to people, these second generation immigrants who feel alienated, disenchanted, disenfranchised. They create kids who are so confused that they don't belong to the country, their adopted country, and suddenly they get motivated by IS because it has a lot of gusto in it,